Hi, everyone. This is Nathan at NumaThrive. I uncover the deeper purpose within so that you experience the vital energy needed to create the unique life that you prefer. Today, I'm here once again with our friend Clayton Nolte. Hello, Clayton.
Hey, good morning.
I've come across explaining structured water to people and your technology, and sometimes they have questions of like, well, what is his degree? What is his certifications? Is there any evidence of this? How would you respond?
Actually, nobody has ever asked me for my credentials. I spent 40 years in the military government. My office gave me credentials. I was in a secret world. And even if I had credentials, they weren't real. There's nothing there.
Because it was underground bases, different places in the United States, and you're basically signed a contract where you couldn't disclose what you were working on or technology that you had seen.
I signed a contract when I left, basically a non-disclosure, non-circumvent, which I was released from a few years later. But as far as doing anything outside of what my job description was, the activity is so intense. Those of us involved didn't want to miss a minute of it. You didn't want to sleep. You didn't want to eat. You wanted to be involved.
I've heard you say the phrase higher education before, and is that referring to what the Air Force and military could only basically offer you in that context, and they would never kind of teach that at a university?
I ran into or was introduced to many people of earlier times who were educators, and I spent time with them throughout my career in order to garner the understanding that they had acquired through their time engaged in the programs.
What do you think about people who are like, well, if you don't have a degree or you don't have a doctorate or you don't have XYZ acronyms after your name, then you got nothing to offer and you don't know anything?
I'm fine with that. Then get on board and utilize my technology or don't. It's not up to me how you need a gatekeeper or you need protection by somebody's having a badge or an authority. Most of the people that have those things are ignorant. It's their way of protecting themselves.
I've met people throughout the years and they're like, do you have a psychology doctorate or do you have a master's in philosophy? I go, no. And it's pretty much been me having knowledgeable mentors such as yourself and others throughout the years. It makes sense that you would come across these people when you were in these underground military bases and you saw what they're aware of and you want to be around them, you want to listen to them, see what they learned. And sometimes that can be a quantum jump or even exponential more than someone who's gone to a university for like a decade or more.
Yeah. What a university gives you, or let's say education gives you, is a channel in order to garner the true information, to follow and be able to navigate what is in front of you and actually take in what's most appropriate to recreate what you're seeing and what you're involved in, to be able to recreate it in a lab setting, to take it home with you. But you have to remember all the details. There are places you go, there's no taking a picture of it. There's no writing it down, basically. You can write it down, sure, but you really don't have the time. So when you're in a flash moment, what do you remember of that flash? It takes training in order to be able to, first off, access it and then retain the information that it is giving, freely giving. But you have to have the mental acuity and not only that, you have to be void of fear and doubt and all the other things that people tend to utilize in order to whatever. I'm not that person. Again,
Yeah.
I've spent 40 years, 60 years now engaged in technologies. It's my life.
I'm aware that you've shared before that no one has ever come to you really questioning what you've designed because there is so much research and science behind it and physics that who's actually going to disprove it. Recently, I was online where you can join groups, there's people talking from all around the world in voice. And so I joined a group and I was just sharing that I recently have been studying more about the physics of structured water. And immediately this plumber comes in and he's like, whoa, 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 you're just like making claims here. And, who is this Clayton guy? What are his credentials? And I was like, okay, let him kind of just get his little reaction out. I said, what do you think about the difference, between angles? And what is your view on a 120-degree bond angle? He goes, I don't, what does that have to do with anything? 90 degrees is the best way for piping. And he just, he, what would be the most useful way to approach people who are still really conditioned and rooted in the 3D world, like if they're plumbers or engineers that work with water systems or at water facilities, to kind of go to the next level of awareness about this technology?
We don't have time for them, really. It's either do it or don't do it. Where humanity is today, those of us with technologies and are able to take those technologies and put them into a physical product that you can hold in your hand. We're doing that. Yes. We are bringing the quantum world into a physical world, your world. You all are in the physical world. I've been in the energy world all my adult life. I'm doing everything I can to bring the energy world into a physical so that humanity has the capability of surviving and thriving.
We don't have that much time because the dystopian aspects are getting exponential, and the pollution and the extraction model of the earth that's creating more pollution. So we need to implement the technologies sooner than later and not really debate about the physics, because most people don't even have the concept or the context to even start that conversation.
Right? They don't. What they're relying on basically is what is presented to them. And the majority of that presentation is not true. The majority of technologies represented out there are placebos. A placebo basically is if somebody adamantly tells you this works and you believe it, it works until you don't believe it.
A lot of the people with the acronyms after their names and the degrees that give this illusion of prestige or domination, structure, hierarchy in their mind.
It's all in their mind, not in mine. People with degrees and people with credentials, it's a facade. The majority of it is a facade. I'm in a different category. I worked 20 years in the Air Force and 20 years as a consultant. I'm here. I'm alive.
I hear you.
I'm 87 years old. I don't know what to tell you.
The technology stands on its own.
I think the biggest proof of this is what happens to you. What happens to the individual? When an individual picks up or is even a bottle of structured water, they change. Their physiology changes, but they don't see it. Usually the person next to you sees the change in you. You're living in it, so you don't really see the change.
That's a great way of describing it. And so I can say, since I started using the portable, that combined with the structured air, I've just noticed that I get better sleep. I'm waking up early. I usually have a pretty long day from 10:30 sometimes to 8:30. That's very demanding mentally sometimes. And I do not need to drink coffee or energy drinks at all. I mean, I don't anyways. I just drink structured water. I have the energy that I need for the mental focus, for all the tasks that I need to do. I don't feel completely burnt out as I'm going to bed. That's my subjective experience since using this, and I've only used it for what, you've sent this 3 weeks ago, something like that. So just within those 3 weeks, the other thing that I've been doing too, until I get the unit that I can put under my kitchen sink here in the background, is I've been rinsing my dishes with this too. So I'll wash my dishes and then I will rinse with this specifically. Then I also use the water from the structured unit. After I brush my teeth, I'll rinse my mouth, and I'll also let my toothbrush sit in the water from this device too. So that's how I've been using it so far.
Right. And you can take that and go to Mexico and prevent Montezuma's revenge. I mean, people tell me all the time. You can go to Haiti. In the water there is cholera. You can prevent it all. Because why? Because structured water neutralizes all toxins and hydrocarbons, and it eliminates all bacteria, molds, and pathogens.
What is it about the hexagonal water, or what is actually holding it? How does it know how to hold all these unbeneficial things to life in it and move it out of the body without it leaving the water and going somewhere else in the body? How does it contain it all the way to the elimination system?
Well, that's easy. Water's mandate is to bring in the nutrients and take out the garbage.
So when you
So,
say mandate, can you break it down for people? Its purpose,
yes, it's perfect.
its function.
Its function. No other function other than to bring in the nutrients and take out the garbage.
Is this from the studies that you did alone or other researchers in the world where you kind of come to this conclusion like water is pointing all that this is its purpose, basically?
I suspect you could go back to some of the original researchers. They didn't really look at it that way. When you engage in these type of technologies, the only way to advance and move it forward is to remain in truth. And as a researcher or a technologist, you are constantly engaged in all the facets of it. And you continually are asking what more is possible, what more is here. All this data, a lot of it is non-essential, but yet it's there.
It points to the truth. And then so people watching would be like, what is truth? You know, like, so are we talking about ontological principles of reality? It's like an ontological principle, meaning it is beyond human conception and opinion. Any person from anywhere in the world could look at that and see that it is a function of how reality works. Is that what you mean by truth or something else?
For me, if I'm not in truth, I get hit with the spiritual 2x4.
Did that happen when you were researching water?
No, it didn't happen because I had the ability to know how to approach it. The ability is basically being, let's go with this simple version of this, being in contact with the unified field. So basically, I would ask a question and I would get an answer. And if it wasn't an answer that was what I needed, I kept asking questions. The spiritual 2x4 comes when you're trying to explain something and you take the context to something that's not true, and you put it out there as absolute. That's where I would get in trouble, let's say, so to speak. If I do that, I can't do what I do.
Right. Yeah, so a human that is exclusively identified with their ego that wants to exaggerate or make assumptions without it actually being in alignment with a ontological truth function of reality or the unified field, it won't let it, like, do not pass go, do not collect $200.
Right?
Basically.
Exactly. Exactly. So and I learned more and more, and I didn't write things down. I know better to do than to do that. Where do you keep it?
Isn't it in the field? The analogy that they
Right.
give of the brain, you take apart a television set, you're not going to find a soccer game in it. It's picking up a signal.
Right.
So,
Right. It's all there. I don't need it. I don't need to read somebody else's rendition of what I'm doing. I don't need to read. I don't need to go to school anymore. Don't need to learn. Everything that everybody else has is what they have.
this is a manifestation of being in a correct alignment with the unified field. Like the universe wanted this specifically designed, and it was able to do so because it was correct.
Yes, absolutely. and its function brings a perfectly balanced, coherent water and or air.
The structured air unit. So when people look online with the image, they might think it's a little small. And I have mine right here. So I'll just show, as far as proportion size, it's almost about a foot tall, right?
Yeah, 13
And
inches.
all the specs are on the PDF here.
It's 8 inches across and 8 inches deep, 13 inches tall. It has an internal 6-inch fan that turns at a rate of 1200 RPM. There are some of the earlier versions that did 1000 RPM. And we kept the RPM down. It doesn't make a very loud sound.
Yeah, it's very quiet. I have this by my bed, and so the fan, you can barely hear it. What is this right here? Should this never be opened? Should that always remain closed? And what
You're
is this?
you're the second person to ask what that is. Basically, it's a compartment. Anyway, what's in there is salt,
That never needs to be replaced. Himalayan salt that's in there.
right? It adds a component to the air as it passes over it. The air doesn't really pass over it. The air picks up the ions that it emits continuously.
The salt specifically from a specific region like Afghanistan, or did you
Yeah,
choose
it's Himalayan salt, comes from the Himalayan mountains, primarily Pakistan.
Pakistan? Yep.
Himalayan salt contains all the minerals essential for life,
Hmm.
but also salt, of which humans need the energy of salt.
Yeah, for
They don't
like
need the physical. They, I mean, again, you all are in the physical world, so you think that your need for salt comes from a salt shaker.
right.
Actually, your need for salt primarily is energetically. And what that specific attribute to structured air, we were given a formulation that really is an absolute necessity for humanity now and in the future.
When you say we, do you mean when you were in the labs or something else?
I say we when I'm talking about my organization primarily as me and an engineer. So we, in the aspect of putting all of the technology together and creating a physical form, as that physical form developed, we put it together and decided to add this special potential for the recipients of a structured air technology, to be able to add to their air specific energy fields that they may need. But they first have to come into the reality of knowing that they need it.
What would be an example of the energy field?
Well, right now it's salt. Everybody needs salt. They need the energy of salt.
Mhm.
People
And
who realize this but really don't know it carry around a little packet of salt in their pocket, not to eat, to garner the energy of.
it does matter where the salt comes from. Like there's different you will have a label that says Himalayan salt, but it can be contaminated with different metals and things like that. And there's one that I actually found that was Mike Adams, the health ranger, gets his salt exactly from the region where you're referring to, and it did taste different. And the other one that has the lowest metals was like a kosher salt.
Right, right. However, salt energy, it doesn't matter whether it's Himalayan or kosher or sea salt or the salt out of the underground underneath say
Baja,
Detroit, Michigan,
Flint.
or Flint, Michigan, the biggest salt mine in the world. underground under those cities.
What is it about the salt specifically that is emitting what energy or what the like electrolytes, ions, like
Well,
what
yes, electrolytes for one, but the energy of salt itself, sodium, is absolutely essential for human development, human survival, thriving.
sodium is inextricably linked to potassium, and unless that sodium potassium process is happening with the cell, nothing else can really happen.
Sodium is it the parasympathetic or the sympathetic nervous system? When man was given the mandate no sodium, actually was very, very disruptive to those human beings who actually took that seriously. Well, this was a way of ensuring those individuals who had evolved to the place of realizing that structured air was in their best interest. And I say evolved. When you're asking about selling something and trying to engage people in the truth, what I find is the majority people younger than you, but the majority don't have time. They don't have time to listen.
So the best thing is to give them containers of structured water. I had heard you mention before that the only thing that can unstructure structured air was sunlight, because is that
Right.
because of the violet spectrum, or what is it about the sun
The
specifically?
ultraviolet, yeah, the ultraviolet basically, it's the same reason you don't stand out in the sun for more than 10 minutes. What the sun does is it eliminates the structured water at your cellular, at your skin level, and then penetrates deeper and deeper and deeper, eliminating structure. If you go take a structured water shower, or you take water from your portable, put it in a spray bottle and spray your burn, the burn goes away, basically because you're adding water back to your skin.
Is it true that the higher the wavelength on the electromagnetic spectrum, the higher the nanometer, the deeper it's penetrating into the physical body?
Yeah.
If it's
It,
purple, it's we're past the 900 nanometers, and that's why a burn. We say the word burn, but it's something else, it seems like.
right. So in water, so the sun penetrates water uh, about 4.5 inches. You can take one drop of water through your portable and add to the ocean, and the whole ocean is instantly structured worldwide.
So that's how fast it is because the
Right.
electron is instantaneous.
Right.
Okay.
Well, what's instantaneous? What is instantaneous is hydrogen is instantaneous.
It's faster than the electron.
Yes, because hydrogen, when you structure water, what you're doing, what you're primarily changing is hydrogen. You're making a hydrogen atom perfect. Every atom of hydrogen that atom comes in contact with is made in its image perfect instantaneously.
Is this also because we're in like a holographic universe, so you change one part and it's represented
Absolutely.
in the whole? Is that
Yes. Yes. You want to look at it that way? Yes. That's exactly what it does. That's that's a more physical view of what I'm saying. It is true. You can take a spray bottle again with structured water, walk down the street, spray the fender of every car on the street. You know what'll happen? Instantaneously, that car will have no pollution. Basically, its exhaust will be sweet. You can stand in it all day. It'll get a 30% increase in gas mileage
oh
until the
no,
computer
no, don't do that.
until the computer kicks in on or about 200 miles and said, no, that's not possible. But for the first 200 miles, you'll get a 30% increase in gas mileage.
So if there's no place to put water into the car, you can just put it in a spray bottle, spray anywhere on the car.
Right? Bumper. Bender?
So people who are environmentalists and they're virtue signaling, we gotta save XYZ. This is like a very direct, simple, immediate solution that you can implement.
Right, right. Yeah, people have done it across the world. Nobody talks about it because they don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like that structuring device you have in your hand. If you don't know how to explain it, 99% of the time, it goes in a drawer because then not knowing anything or not being able to explain it, you're not subject anymore to appearing to be not intelligent.
It's a
Men,
paradox because on one side, context matters and being able to have some degree of awareness and be able to articulate it does matter. And then on the other side of it too, people who are skeptical either show counter evidence, make your own device, or don't even engage with these people.
Men put it in the drawer. Women use it because it makes them feel better. It makes their hair feel better, makes their skin feel better.
One of the other things that I remember you sharing with me about the portable that I really love too, and I tried it immediately when I received it in the mail, was you were saying that it can basically calm the nervous system, that it's also, you can use it for breathing.
Yes.
So if someone is in a car accident or they're really stressed, or you see a car accident, or you see something traumatic, or even if you want to just maybe relax on your lunch break during work, which is usually what I'll do.
Yep. You can do it through your mouth and out your nose. But if you go in through your nose and out your nose is the vehicle of your body that gives you more. Just breathing through your mouth in an accident will alleviate your body going into shock. Shock is your body's will shut down your heart if you don't alleviate shock.
Just from 3 inhalations, I can viscerally feel my brain being flooded with oxygen or something in my throat, and my chest definitely feels lighter, and it's just almost like it just goes like this.
Right, right.
It's really
And
interesting how that works.
eventually your whole body will correct
Mhm.
into enabling you to do the things you did when you were younger. This is what one of the side effects, in a sense, of structured air. Structured air, you're breathing, every breath you take is giving you 35% increase in free oxygen and all the nutrients essential for life, enabling your body to rebuild. And the biophoton energy of that little device is 4.5, putting a energy field into your body, awakening every cell to receive the benefits of the unit itself and the air and your
Before,
intentions.
and our intentions, yes. I remember you mentioning before too the nostrils, just like how the heart creates a vortex and structured water. The heart, it when it churns, it's creating a vortex to structure the water. Can you tell us about the nostrils and how the body is designed structuring air?
Your left nostril spins the air to the right, your right nostril spins the air to the left, vortexing the air you breathe. Breathe through your nose. If you breathe through your nose, that structured air that you create will neutralize all bacteria, molds, and pathogens instantaneously. It also neutralizes all toxins and hydrocarbons that may be in the air.
When we look at yogis and sadhus, right, and doing the pranayama techniques,
Right?
but they never talked about the vortex, but the technique in itself is a way of manipulating the vortex to achieve a desired function.
The device and or just breathing, exercising that breath. Don't remember the guy's name, but a guy who was actually a psychiatrist or psychologist trying to aid people who have conditions lodged in their subconscious, basically A huge one is PTSD. That's a condition in your subconscious. And when it rises up or something triggers it, it takes over your whole functional body. PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome. As you breathe structured air, it alleviates a good deal of the conditions, whether it be a cellular memory, but in your subconscious, it will eliminate the majority of the issues internal to your physical body just from the excess free oxygen that's created by breathing. You can do it just with your nostrils, but you have to do it in a setting, basically, of kind of like a meditation, where you're deep breathing, breathing through both nostrils. And as you do that, you're creating and you do it with
Diaphragm.
your diaphragm, right? And as you're doing that, you're creating more free oxygen. That free oxygen, yes, goes to every cell and it has a function, but the free oxygen goes to every cell and eliminates from that cell that which does not serve the cell. In other words, heavy metals or whatever other energetic disruption that's within that cell, cancer, whatever it may be. But it pushes it out into your lymph system, and your lymph system carries it to your elimination system.
And this is a big topic that I've been studying, that the metals in lymph nodes can block lymph function. And does structured air and structured water combine? Is that like the ultimate powerhouse to like clean out the nodes so that the lymphatics can move
Absolutely.
everything to the elimination system?
Great. Absolutely. It's one of the first things that happens. So when you breathe through that device, you're enabling all these functions to clean up, to detox, so they can no longer ever burden you again.
Does the structured air and water also reconfigure the tissue and the nodes so that if more toxins do come in, that they're less likely to accumulate? And if yes,
Yes,
how is that so?
absolutely. Yes, yes. Another really big aspect of the structured breathing is the energy, maybe not so much from that small unit, but the bigger unit, the structured air unit. Yes. From that unit, because it has a biophoton energy field of 3,600, where your portable has a biophoton field of 4.5. So that biophoton field in the air you breathe is basically instructing your cells to be ready for everything that is within the air, it's within the water, it's within everything that's coming to you. But first it has to detox your cellular level. So if you've had injuries in the past, those injuries are going to be repaired. I have a friend that she had the same thing, a bicycle accident when she was young, and her left hand, the muscle right down from her thumb, actually took off about an eighth of an inch of the muscle on concrete, and it's growing back. It's returned, and she says now it itches, but it has returned.
Right. The itching in itself is showing that she is becoming sensitized to what is
Right.
growing back.
Yes. Yes.
And for people who are skeptical about that, you can read a book called The Body Electric. And there's been studies, right, with like
Yes.
geckos and stuff where they cut off tails and introduce the electrical current and it grows back. And people have grown back teeth.
Right.
You know,
Ar-
it's
And
possible.
young people, arms, fingers, hands. Yes. Yes. All possible.
Because where the physical body is within a morphic field and that morphic field is linked to the unified field, and that unified field has all the instructions to basically do whatever it needs to do.
Yeah. But the instructions are within. That's your DNA. So your DNA was constantly changing as a child and still is changing. And the driving force to changing your DNA is your conscious awareness. So the more you become consciously aware, and people ask me, well, what does that mean? And I say basically the more you become benevolent, the more that you see in the best interest of all concerned that the things you do are in the best interest of all concerned. You want your prayers to come true? Do it in the best interest of all concerned. It will happen a lot sooner than it would if you constantly pray for it.
So, like in integral psychology, they talk about moral intelligence, which is basically the movement from like egocentric, I only care about myself, to ethnocentric, I only care about my family or my country, to world centric, I care about all countries, all families, all people, and then cosmocentric, I care about everything that I'm aware of and beyond our solar system.
Yes, very true.
And so moving from egocentric to ethnocentric is a huge leap for most humans, I would say. And even the movement from ethnocentric to world centric, because it's like, yeah, I care about my family and my sports team and my country, but I don't care about your family or your country or and that bridge to move from ethnocentric, moral intelligence, care and concern to world centric is basically what we can do when we're structuring water and structuring air because like you've shared before, those clusters and those biophotons accumulate, right? And they just grow essentially, right?
Yes, yes. And the other really big thing with the structured air is and the portable that you have in your hand. They all contain all the nutrients essential for life. Those nutrients include all the materials and that are needed to rebuild you at your cellular level in accordance with your current DNA, your current DNA. That's the one of all the things that you mentioned and the ways that the human physiology is let's say inclined or let's say present in that. So so here we are. What is internal to the physiology of the actual air unit, every breath you take is going to give you all the nutrients to rebuild your physiology, your at the cellular level in accordance with your current DNA, which includes going beyond, includes protecting your physical body from all the things that are coming, whatever it may be, COVID, all the diseases that your body will no longer be subject.
Whether it's lab made or out in the
Right.
world, it's basically not structured, it's incompatible. So therefore it's just like two the same sides of magnets. It will just repel.
Right. Exactly.
And that also is connected for people who are into, Chinese medicine or biophysics too, that the aura becomes stronger, I imagine, or the Wei
Yes.
Qi.
Absolutely. Right.
Yeah. So
Yep.
it's just you're getting more robust and it's just getting structured and you're just like
Right. Yep. Invincible. Superman.
yeah, it's really inspiring.
Once your bodily functions get repaired, all those past injuries, all the past, and if you have a weakened colon or you have a weakened, uh, um,
Time
I
in
don't,
Mexico.
yeah, yeah, right,
You're drinking the water or you shower.
gallbladder or whatever, all those things are repaired. Then what happens is your body starts you go into an anti-aging function where your body starts shedding off age, taking you back to a
Right.
younger state of being.
Right, because there's like the external chronological age and biological age, and most
Right.
people don't know the difference of that. I
Right.
wanted to share my experience since getting the structured air unit. So I have this predominantly by my bed when I sleep, and since I've had it, the main thing that I've noticed is I'm waking up at like 5 a.m., 5:30, and I don't set an alarm. I also use a different technology made by this neurologist in Minnesota called Soltec sleep management system, which helps the brain basically stay in a delta brainwave state so that it can produce growth hormone. And I've already been getting deep delta sleep with that. And I think this has just taken it to the next level because that device is using frequencies and magnetic fields, but this is structured air. And now that I'm aware, it has the salt component too, which, I've been to salt rooms, and for people out there, there are salt rooms that you can go in where the floor is completely Himalayan salt. They have Himalayan salt bricks and lamps and stones in there, and they will basically put salt on the outside of the room in this device that will micronize it, and it will blow it into the room for people to breathe. So people who had different congestive things or kids are sick or whatever, they have little toys and the kids can play and they go and sit in there for, a while. And I did that before and I did feel better. So it's very interesting that you put salt, that for people who get it, that's what that compartment is there on the bottom of the unit. What have other people said that you've been in communication with of like benefits coming up of them having this in their room or where they are?
Normalizing blood pressure within 24 hours, a normal blood pressure. The same lady's cat, 17 years old, on its deathbed, in 24 hours became like a kitten. And the man of the house, difficulty breathing when he was trying to sleep, had to be sit up almost in order to breathe at night. In 24 hours, his breath was normal, and he could lay flat without a pillow. That's just one household with one unit.
You mentioned too that it was used in hospice too settings.
There was a lady who put it in her daughter's bedroom in a nursing home, had been in a nursing home for 13 years. A person also in the same room with debilitated dementia, 2 years in the hospital or the nursing home, in less than 30 days, was up walking around talking about all the birthdays she missed and their phone numbers and their addresses, and she left the hospital. But the other lady and who had gone in for being in a coma, was given medication, caused her physical body to go into a fetal position, and now after 6 months has started coming out of that condition. Those all these conditions are in the brain. The structured air, every breath in a nursing home, a person, every breath they take has within it the answer, the perfect, all the nutrients to make the corrections, but yet the physical body has to take it in and has to put it into work, and changing a physical, let's say, cell. It's something that our body does continually. We're constantly rebuilding our cells, and it's constantly changing. And so having structured air in a person's room aids everything to change. But again, I'm going to remind you the first thing that has to change is the toxins that are lodged in the cells need to be alleviated. They need to be evicted, sent away. If a person's lymph system is non-functional, then the lymph system needs to be made functional. Every organ needs to be made functional.
Right, and the organs can't function until the lymphatics are
Right, exactly.
functioning. And a lot of people use the antiperspirants that have aluminum and they block the lymph nodes,
Yep.
or they go
Right.
to pedicures and they sand the bottom of their feet, which prevents the acrocynium ducts from secreting.
Right. There's so many things that people are doing. They're harming their own physiology. They're harming themselves from making the corrections.
Yeah, I go to some nursing homes for my work, and I am feeling more and more motivated to learn who the directors are, who has the say to send this information to show them that the whole facility could benefit putting just one structured air unit in a dining hall or a
Right.
place where they get together, and it would improve the quality of life. And if they have a mission statement or a vision statement that says improving the quality of life, it's like this is the all this is like the higher strategy we can
And,
implement.
and remember, it has a 90-day money get back guarantee. Try it. You know, prove it. Prove it to yourself. It really does work.
And did
And
you choose 90 days because usually some shift happens not only in 24 hours,
right.
it can happen within 60 days, and
And
depending on what level of toxicity and environmental stressors people are exposed to or not.
yes. And the primary roadblock is the individual's thought process, or let's say uh, belief system.
Their paradigm. Yep.
You
Yeah.
have to get past their belief system.
Which
And
is
that,
the whole point, that what I love about these is that it's not necessarily, it transcends a belief system. It's like it's a direct experience. And in our Western world, it's like we've been conditioned that we have to have an explanation, and we've delegated and abandoned in some ways our inner truth to get some external validation, and it's completely backwards.
yes, yes, this technology works. I have people that say, they ask me a question, I give them an answer, and they said, well, I don't understand that. So I give them another answer, and they don't understand that. I finally get down to the place, Bob, it works. Use it.
Right. Yeah. It's like context matters. So when you're approaching to talk with a physicist, it's considerate and useful to have some bare awareness of like periodic table of elements, electromagnetic spectrum, and it's not like you're talking above people either. You're very personable, and I find it easy to communicate with you, and that's why I'm motivated to do these ongoing calls and put them online, because I would like for people to see that we want the betterment for all of humanity, and we're looking at more direct, fast solutions rather than waiting for someone else to come save us.
Right, right.
Thank you for watching this video with Clayton and I, where he talks about structured air. If you're interested in trying a structured air unit for 90 days and you don't like it, you can send it back, or you can purchase one indefinitely. You can go to NumaThrive. On the top here, you can click products. And as you scroll down on this page, you will see the different structured water units. And at the bottom here, you can see where it says structured air unit. You can click buy. This page will give you more specific details about the benefits of structured air in your home, as well as the specific specs and sizes of the device. Scroll down further, you can click this expand button. And this will bring you to a PDF where you can read through more details. When you're ready to buy, you can press buy now. This will bring you to the contact page. And when you scroll down, you're going to enter your name. Last name is optional. Email is required. And for the subject, you're going to click buying structured air unit. In the text field below, you're just going to type what you specifically are curious about, whether you want to buy a structured air unit or try it for 90 days, or if there are payment options for it. And then you're going to click begin my refinement. I'll receive your message and respond within 24 hours. If you found this video to be useful or supportive, you learned something new about structured air, how it can help the human body, your family, please share this video with friends and family. Like the video and subscribe, and stay tuned for part 2 of this talk with Clayton.